Hey, hitting the old button.
Good morning. We will now call the Freeman School Board to a special board meeting to order. First, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Next item on the agenda is roll call.
Slade.
Yes.
Emily.
Yes.
Cody.
Yep.
Doug.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yep.
Next item on the agenda, approval of the agenda, will require a motion to approve the agenda.
A couple amendments to the agenda. So we are going to remove agenda item 3 and 4, and the new 3 would be the school board will hold a discussion about the wrestling cooperative agreements, and 4 would be will require a motion to dissolve the wrestling cooperative agreement.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Slade,
Second.
second by Cody. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any conflict of interest disclosures? I have received none. Public input?
None.
New business. The school board will hear an update from the task force school board members. Doug and I were able to meet with 2 board members from Marion and Freeman Academy, as well as their respective superintendents. That was this past Wednesday. Days are getting away from me. We were able to have a robust discussion, and they brought forth a different, or their revised version of the all sports co-op plan after some discussion, decided, just with the permanence of potential consolidation language in there, they wanted more time to process that and really make sure, that would be a good fit for their district. And then also with the impending tight timeline for football, it was a unanimous kind of decision between all of us to prioritize the football co-op, move forward, with that sport only, and then decide on the others after the football timeline is passed. And that'll be an agenda item on our regularly scheduled board meeting. As do we want to kind of just continue right into that discussion? Do we want to take a break and see how football goes? And so that'll be an item on the agenda for Monday. Doug, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So included in your packet, there's 2 items that will be up for approval this morning. The first one would be the application for cooperative sponsorship of activities. So this would be the application that we would submit to the Athletic Association. That just has a breakdown of our numbers and the reasoning why we are looking at this sports cooperative agreement. And then we would, once approval is met, we would fill this out and send this into the Athletic Association. And that would be along with the formal agreement that was put together. And that's the next document that's in your packet. This would be the actual sports cooperative agreement that we put together with all 3 schools. So just going through a couple of the key components to this. Page 5 is one of the pages where we spent a lot of time discussing. That would be ultimately what we landed on with the football being the agreement. That there would be 3 games that would be held in Freeman for varsity, and 1 game held in Marion. And then we'd be looking at the split for the junior varsity and junior high teams as well. And then the breakdown for what cheerleading for football would look like. Another big discussion item to talk about that's part of this plan for approval would be the conference affiliation. And in a moment I'm going to let Christy and Sage discuss that a little bit more. On page 6, uniforms and mascots. As part of our discussion, the uniforms would be determined by the activities director and future head football coach. And then a mascot, the equal representation of schools from each school district in the cooperative task force will assist in determining the process used to declare a mascot for the team. So there's some of the key pieces to the cooperative agreement documents, and then the final piece would be that for coaches, we're looking at three coaches for the junior varsity, varsity level, and 2 coaches for the junior high, which is highlighted on page 8. This for approval would be up for approval tonight. and then we would review the document at the end of the 2023-2024 school year. That would be for the purpose of conference affiliation. This is a 4-year agreement, which is highlighted in the next statement that would go to the 2025-2026 school year. Those are some of the key pieces that I had, and I'll turn over to Christy to talk a little bit about conference affiliation. I do have a sheet that was included in your packet that breaks down the 2 different conferences that were discussed.
Good morning. So we talked with the other 2 schools about conferences that we would be affiliated with. I've had a couple conversations with Tom Clover, who's the superintendent at Avon and sort of the speaker for the Great Plains Football Conference. And he talked about the teams that are in it and how that works, and you have that listed on your paper there. Avon, Alcester, Hudson, Burke, Centerville, Cologne, of course, Stickney, Gayville, Vaughn. It spreads out a little farther than some other conferences that we know. He predicted that with an addition of 1 more team, and I also talked with Dan Swartos and said, if there's 8 or more, they split that. Sometimes by classes, sometimes by east-west. He suspected east-west. So then you would play the teams in your division, your side of the conference, and then there would be a crossover game that you would have at the end of the season with that. So you'd have a couple of non-conference games as well. So with discussion, we just felt like this was a good fit for our team. The Corn Belt, Canastoga's kind of taken that spot, and then we're out on that, and those teams play each other, but it's just what we felt was best, and I don't know if you have any questions on that, I can answer that. And as Superintendent TG said, after 2 years, so we've petitioned, and after 2 years, that would be reviewed, right, by all of us. You know, do we want to continue with that conference or not? So even though the agreement is 4 years, that's how that would work. Any questions of me?
So thanks, Christy.
Okay, you're welcome.
Is there any discussion? You're so quiet this morning. Great, then I will require a motion to approve the proposed sports cooperative agreement, including the conference affiliation that ED Sage has recommended. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Motion by Deb. Do I have a second? Second by Cody. Let's do a roll call vote.
Slade?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. Kyle?
Yeah.
Excellent. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, school board will hold a discussion about the wrestling cooperative agreement.
So including your packet, we have an executive summary report. This was produced by Brad Behrens of Marion. Asked him if this would be something that I could present to our board, and he was very open to me sharing that with you guys as well. Basically highlights how we ended up to be in this situation that we're looking at with the numbers, with the ADMs that we have, with the growth that we've had in our districts, that are part of the wrestling cooperative, that we are now pushed up to Class A from Class B. This is something that we presented on a couple of weeks, or a few weeks ago. With that, we talked to Chris, and Chris had highlighted, and I think he spoke at a board meeting, that we're not scared of the competition for Class A. We feel like we can compete just as well for Class A as we can Class B. But what we're concerned about is the amount of travel. That there would be some pretty significant distances that we would need to travel for the competition. So that's what's really put us in a tough situation. The background that was the moving, that caused this discussion to come forward was the moving Class A from Class B. There were about 25 ADMs that push us over into Class A. So the conclusion portion of it, that we would prefer to stay in Class B. Looking at the schools that are part of our current cooperative, Canastoga is the last school to join the cooperative, so that's what we'd be looking at removing from the cooperative. And then the recommendations are that at the board meeting this morning, that we approve to dissolve the current wrestling cooperative, and then on Monday, February 14th, we would have a new cooperative that would be put together that would represent Freeman Public, Freeman Academy, Menno, and Marion, and that will be presented as an agenda item for the Monday meeting. Any questions? Next document that's in your packet would be the email from Mr. Swartos that highlights what the ADMs were. And then the final item in your packet would be the cooperative agreement that will be voted on Monday, or the application, I should say, to the Athletic Association. And the key piece for this one that's applicable to this board meeting would be the last page of the document, that is the dissolution, that would be, would dissolve the wrestling co-op. And once one school dissolves the co-op is no longer. It doesn't take every school to do it, it just takes one school to dissolve it, and then that is no longer. And then we would have to have a formal plan for if we chose to move forward with another wrestling cooperative.
How many years ago did Canastota join the wrestling cooperative?
It's been 3 years, I just their
Okay.
third year right now.
They just have the one participant.
Any discussion? No one? I mean, I guess, you know, I'm gonna rely on coaches and those that have a little bit more, knowledge in the wrestling realm of things. And if that's your recommendation, I guess I'm comfortable going forward with it, so.
If I remember correctly, Canastota wasn't exactly supporting that student and giving him rights to practice or anything. Is that
No,
correct?
now all of a sudden they're starting to
Okay.
try to support all of a sudden out of nowhere, it seems like, but the past 3 years, there's been zero support when it comes to transporting students. The parents have had to rely on that. My wife has even gone over to pick up the wrestlers to give them matches. My grandpa's gone over to pick them up because they don't provide anything, so. Makes it difficult, and I know kids there's been kids interested in the program from Canastota to wrestle, but the parents have seen the headaches it was to get kids in practice, and it turned them off. And so, I mean, it's tough to get numbers when there's no commitment.
You've only had one kid ever.
No, the first year when I had like 3 or 4, but then it just turned into a lot of time off for parents to get home.
Right, a scheduling nightmare.
And even right now, at least this parent has some freedom on his own, small, construction company, he's got some freedom where he can leave and
Sure.
you get him over there, so for over here.
Any other discussion? All right, then I will require a motion to dissolve the wrestling cooperative agreement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kyle. Do I have a second? By Slade. All in favor say, or let's do roll call vote, yeah.
Slade,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Kyle.
Yep.
All right, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, adjournment will require a motion to adjourn the February 2022 special board of Education meeting at, I have 7:15 a.m. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody,
Second.
second by Slade. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Grab a cinnamon roll on the way out.
So we just dissolved the longest standing co-op